Morning everybody, thank you for watching. So it's Tuesday the 23rd of November, got the day and the date right this time, and I'm out here on the Guideposts Road, just about to make a turn into or onto Brisbane Grove Rd. According to my watch, that's about 5.75 kilometres from my home. It's about 6:45 in the morning, obviously. Left my home about 6:20. Giving myself the benefit of whatever that is. That's where we are. So I've got the good camera on, the one that doesn't wobble side to side so much, and I'm only going to film the section here from along Brisbane Grove Rd. Brisbane Grove Rd connects the Guideposts Road with the Redwood Rd. You would have seen a lot of the footage of my other runs along the Montgomery Rd to the Thorns Bridge there many a time, and if you watched any of my motorcycle videos, you would have seen a section from the Montgomery Bridge to here in some of those. So I didn't film any of that because, as I say, you've already seen it. It's not that interesting to do it again. But I've not run this road before, so I thought I'd just film this section, which by my estimation is about 2 kilometres. So when it's all finished and you get to watch it, it might only be 12, maybe 15 minutes at the most to watch. So coming from the northern end of the road, I chose to come this way first time because whilst there's a bit of a rise, you can see in front of me, when you get around this bend, there's another sharp bend, and then you're on top of the rise, and the other side of it down to the Redwood Road is quite steep. I thought I'd take the easier option first time around. And I said I haven't run this road before, but I've walked it a few times, and when I first started making videos, I made one coming along this road. I'll put a link in the description so you can see a bit more of the scenery if you're interested. It has no commentary, there's some cheesy music and photographs I took at various points, and I'll give you a bit of a view of the countryside out here. If you're a local, you'll know this, where I'm talking about, and you maybe even run it or ridden it or something or other. And if you're somebody who's a casual viewer or even a subscriber to my channel that's not local, well, hopefully you'll see some nice scenery. Now, the Montgomery Road up to this point is a bit hairy for runners in that there's no shoulder, just like there is here, practically no shoulder. So that means you've virtually got to run on the right side of this white line here, is obviously on the road. Now, Montgomery Rd or Guideposts Road does get a bit of traffic. This one, except for the car that just went past, probably doesn't get as much traffic. So running on the road, not so bad, but you know, at least be aware that there will be cars on this road, and you're best to just get onto the soft shoulder there when you hear a car coming. This land out here is agricultural land. I don't know what sort of farming they do on it. I've seen some cows and sheep sometimes. Back before the bend there, some horse paddocks, and I think a bit further up here, more horse paddocks. I never know exactly what you're going to see until I upload this to the computer. As I've explained before, I'm wearing a chest harness, and although this camera has a live screen where you can supposedly see what's being filmed, the angle I have the camera tilted at means that that screen's back up against my chest, so I couldn't see it. But in any case, the camera has a mechanism that switches that screen off after about 30 seconds or something in order to save the battery. So if I'm describing something you can't see, I apologise. At least then the camera seems to be pretty wide, but doesn't make up for the scope of vision you have with your own eyes, obviously. Now I came around that bend, and on a sort of straight section, it's going up to a bit of a rise in the distance there, and then you'll see the drop down to the Redwood Rd. I remember many years ago I rode my bike with one of my children out here, and I'd ridden it quite a few times and didn't think anything of it, and I said to him, let's go for a ride, and we set off, and I didn't say where we were going, and we were going in the opposite direction. In other words, we started at the Redwood Rd and we're heading north rather than south as I am this time, and I think we might have walked our bikes up the hill, as you're going to see in a moment. Anyway, we got to the end of the northern end of Brisbane Grove Rd, there where it meets Montgomery Rd, and then turned back towards town. And the wind was blowing in our faces, and by the time we got to where the overpass over the highway bypass there, he'd had enough, and we made it home eventually, but he never went riding with me again. I guess there's a lesson in there about telling your children where you're going sometimes, and keeping in mind that because you've done a certain thing and you've done it a couple of times and things, oh, it's okay, you can do that, doesn't mean a 10-year-old child, and it might have been 10 or 12 at the time, is capable of doing it. I'm reminded of all that because I was driving along here the other day with one of my other sons who lives in Victoria, and he was up attending some business in Canberra, came to visit us for the weekend, so we took him for a drive around and showed him some of the newer developments in Goulburn and so on, and drove out here on this road. He said he'd never been on it ever, so that was a first for him, but it also for me, as I was driving it, I thought I can run this road, which is by way of explanation why I'm doing it now. As soon as I say the road doesn't get much traffic, I make a liar out of myself. Last time I walked out here, which would have been maybe 2 years ago or a bit longer, all of these white guideposts on the side of the road are all bent over. They're right angles near their base, and I tried to straighten a few of them. I scratched my head and tried to think, why would someone drive out here and do that? Now the white guidepost is there with the little reflector on it, so that at night time people can see where the edge of the road is, and they start wandering off. I'll get that, I'll see that, and I'll straighten them up or whatever. So bending it over is quite dangerous. I'm glad to see that they're all intact now. Perhaps the council or road maintenance, whoever it is, replace them all. Alright, so we're at the top of that rise that I talked about coming from the southern end. You probably can't see it in the camera yet, but the T intersection with the Redwood Rd is probably about a kilometre, maybe a bit less than a kilometre ahead. Trying to measure it in terms of how many football fields it is. I don't think it's 10. Now, when you're looking down at it like this, it probably doesn't look all that steep. And for comparison purposes, it's probably a little longer to run up it. This rise that I'm going down, of course, it's probably a little longer to run or walk or drive up than, say, Mary's Mount Road from the southern end near the monastery there. But probably not as steep. But as I said, for the first time I thought I'd run from the other end, because as you can see, it's more gentle to the top. Maybe later on in this week I'll run it the other way. Can't guarantee that, so just because I might decide to run other places. place on the left hand side with the impressive stone entranceway is called Brigadoon, apparently. I didn't know that. Probably can't see the house that's set back from the road there, and behind the trees. Brigadoon is a musical, I think written by Rogers and Hammerstein, one of those partnerships from the 40s and 50s. It tells of a mythical village that rises out of the mist in the Scottish Highlands every 10 years or something. I don't know the full story, but I mean, with musicals it doesn't really matter, does it? It's just an excuse for a whole bunch of songs and fun. But Brigadoon, which is a village town about 50 kilometres, 60 kilometres maybe north of Goulburn on the Highland Way, they have a Brigadoon festival every year, and that's there. I don't think they have a musical, but they have stalls and markets and a whole bunch of other stuff like that. And I think there may be a bit of a Scottish flavour to that. I haven't had it the last few years because of COVID, but I've seen some advertising on Facebook to say that I hope it'll be on next year. And as you can see, the T intersection coming up, that's the intersection of this road obviously, and Redwood Rd. So turning left will take you to Turana, Lake Bathurst, Tarago, ultimately intersection of this road with the Kings Highway and Redwood, and then the south coast out of Batemans Bay, turning right, which is what I'll be doing, take you back into Goulburn. Now 8.64 was 5.75 kilometres when I entered this road. 8.64, that makes about 2.9 kilometres, so my judgment about how long it was wasn't so good. I'm going to let the camera run a little bit longer on the Redwood Rd now back into town. See, the shoulder's a bit wider here and a bit safer to run. And coming up towards Thorns Bridge, which is over the Montgomery River. We'll just keep rolling a little bit until we get that in view. And maybe you can see the mistiness and overcloudedness back towards Goulburn. Now on the other side of Thorns Bridge, we continue up Redwood Rd, which eventually joins up with the Montgomery Rd, go over the railway line and onto Sloane Street, which you would have seen at some of my other runs, or just beyond the Thorns Bridge, I can take a left, which I will, and go up Guideposts Road, which you've also seen in some of my other runs. I won't film that either. Well, you can see a sign here, welcome to Goulburn. Trying to get close enough to read the sign. It says population something, 23,888, altitude 702 metres. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the run along Brisbane Grove Rd. Maybe you're inspired to run it yourself. Maybe I've turned you off, but anyway, thank you for watching.